Hello, welcome. My name is Amber. I'm an author and a freelance editor. And today I want to talk a little bit about my editing clients and specifically what to do when you start noticing red flags among new or current clients. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about two pieces of news that I received from clients back in February. I ended up taking January and February pretty much off from YouTube. I only uploaded one video each. I did not realize I needed to refill my creative well, but apparently I did. So that's why this news is coming in so late. But firstly, one of my longtime clients published her debut novel in February. It is called Stand By Q Love. You can grab it from Amazon right now. It's in Kindle Unlimited. And it is about a shy tech and a bold actress. And yes, I am reading it off of the screen because I just read her other manuscript, which is coming out, I think, in April, making sure my brain does not cross them. But this one, it is, I say sapphic romance, it's a sapphic romance. All of her stories are, and they are so cute and cozy and spicy. I know that seems weird to put all those together, but they somehow are. So highly recommend you go check her out. Her name is Heather Gray, and we've been working together, I want to say 2024. Did we work together? It's been a while. I've read four books by her at this point, so there's a lot. But I think we started working in 24. I think, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look when I first worked with her. She's amazing. I love her writing. And oddly enough, my other client had news. She let me know back in February that she received an offer of representation from a literary agent for her sapphic romance. So I have found my ideal clients. And I am so excited for both of them. Their stories are beautiful and intense and emotional, and I love them to bits. So very excited for my clients, and especially now that I can advertise and talk about more of the books that I've been working on because they're finally out in the world. Another client I want to talk about really quickly is Dorian Lockwood. He writes historical mysteries. I would say upper YA is a good place for this, but it's basically, as he talks about it, it's perfect for fans of the Hardy Boys and YA crime thrillers. They are very quick. They're usually like 55,000 words. They are punchy, they are fun, and he currently has 4 books published, and I am obsessed. Like, you guys know me. I love Nancy Drew. So when someone came across, I know I've been working with since 2023. So anytime he writes a new one, he books an order with me, and I am so excited. I have to remind myself that this is a job. I don't just get to read this for fun, even though it 100% feels like fun. I've had a couple writers who've published this year, but these are my returning clients and my absolute favorite ones to work with. Don't let the other ones know. It's okay. But they're also the ones who tend to publish pretty regularly. And by that, I mean 1 to 2 books a year. So, but that aside, I also wanted to mention why I really love working with these clients, and it's because there's such a strong back and forth. And it's not just that I give them ideas and they run with them. We actually are able to have a discussion and really dive into what makes the story better and stronger from an objective standpoint. Sure, there are some subjective things, and I do mention that. And even in my copy editing, proofreading, I'll say hey, I think this needs to be here, but I also know it doesn't need to be. So it's your choice as a writer whether you actually make this change. And it's usually a comma where it's not grammatically necessary, but it might be easier on the reader, or vice versa, something like that. And then we've also gone into a lot deeper discussions, especially for those who order developmental editing from me. And some of these writers, I have helped them, they basically sent me the first half of the book and then said, where can I go from here? Here are some of my ideas. I sent back a bunch of ideas, and then that helped solidify where the story was actually going to go and where it was going to end, most importantly. And I think it's really important that you find an editor who champions your writing, but can also say, hey, this is a darling, they need to go. and this is not serving your story in the way that it could be, which means it's just taking up space for something that could better serve the story, and then in that sense better entertain your audience and retain that readership. I've been a freelance editor for about almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years this fall. And I work primarily on Fiverr. I say primarily, I only work on Fiverr at this point. I have talked endlessly about setting up, my own website and getting clients there. It just hasn't happened. And quite frankly, I've had so much going on in my personal life that if Fiverr is what works best for me, I know they take 20% of my paycheck and then I still have to pay taxes after that. But right now, it's what's working for me. And I think it will be for a little while until I because right now Fiverr is so slow, but it's also the state of the world. No one's really booking anything right now, which is what I anticipated, which is why my day job, I'm so glad that I have one now, so I have income coming in no matter what. But I've also worked with individuals who I ended up having to block them on Fiverr. And obviously, I'm not going to say names, I'm not going to talk about the projects themselves, but I do want to let you out there know, if you are a freelancer in any capacity, in any industry, you have to recognize when someone's going to cost you far more of your piece than they are paying you. Because I can tell you right now, none of these clients I just showcased took any of my piece. I've never had anxiety talking to any of them. I've never been stressed talking to them. And the whole reason for that is because there's that open communication, but there's also that mutual respect of, hey, I'm the editor, let me help strengthen your writing, versus this is your story, I'm not trying to overstep the boundary. And I think I've only blocked like a very small handful of clients. And some of them was the very first time we worked together, and some of them was like the third or fourth time. Those were usually more in the beginning of my time as a freelancer, when I did not realize, hey, I don't have to work with these people if I don't want to. And I do note that that's a privilege in and of itself, because I've only had about 8 months where Fiverr was my only business. Otherwise, I've always had a second job or just a full-time job or something going on. So I was able to be picky about the clients I worked with and that I took on. But I feel like in order to get the best product out of somebody, the best service, they should be picky. Because if I'm working for you just because I want your money, why do I care about your story? And I know when you go into proofreading, it's a much more black and white area of, I'm literally checking this for errors and then I'm done. But when we're talking about like developmental editing, even copy editing, because I am notorious for doing like small line edits in my copy edits, but it's like I need to be invested in the story if I'm going to help it get to where I believe it can be and where readers deserve it to be for when they finally get to sit down and read it. Now, I will say, some of these were simply individuals who could never be pleased. And that is to say, I am on Fiverr. If you get anything less than 5 stars, Fiverr dings you. That's nothing bad, you know? I always say, like, of a reading, I'm like, if it's 3 stars, it means I liked it. If it's 4, I loved it. If it's 5, it's my new Roman Empire. So honestly, 4 and above, you're golden, you're fine. That's just not how it works on Fiverr. I had a client who booked me, I swear it must have been 5 times. But every single time he would rate me like a 4, a 3.9. And like, this was earlier on. And I just could not afford that. But he never said anything was wrong with anything I did. It's just, he didn't believe in giving 5 stars. And I was, at the time, I was like, I know this is an arbitrary problem because I'm on Fiverr. If we just worked together off the platform, it would have been fine. But he also ended up being somebody who wanted me for like my query letter and my synopsis help, which is something that I've actually not only taken off the platform, but now I only do it for clients that I know really well and that I know their writing and their voice. So it's not even something that I ended up carrying on through the 4 years I've been freelancing. And so for me, it was just somebody who's never pleased, somebody who, not saying that I was perfect, but it's also like, you know how this platform works and you're working against it, which is going to hurt me in the long run. So I just blocked him. it was also, he always like requested like discounts, and I was like, that's another bad thing. Like, if I give you a discount, it's because I wanted to, not because you asked for it. Because once you ask for a discount, it's an automatic no. That's just how it works. It's basically you're asking me to be even kinder than I normally am, and that's asking too much. I'm sorry. So, secondly, this other client, this is probably going to highlight more of how I have shifted in my own mindset about writing and publishing in general. But the second client bashed self-publishing to all hell and said it was only for writers who failed to get publishing deals, traditional deals, and that it was for writers who gave up on their craft. And at this point, I had published like 2 or 3 of my books. I have also been traditionally published in my poetry and in my journalism. And I disagreed. And this individual also believed that he could publish. Oh my gosh, how long was this thing? It was like, I don't remember the exact number. It was something insane, like 180,000 words. Okay. And I told him, you need to cut this into $2. It's a fantasy. I don't care. It needs to be $2. No one's heard of you. And he argued with me and said he would never do that. That would hinder the integrity of his book. And it was just one of those things where he is high and mighty. He has written the next bestseller. And long story short, he hadn't. Easily, by myself, I could have cut out 30 to 40,000 words of writing that just did nothing to serve the story or push the pacing. And he refused to take that. And I basically didn't understand his vision. And that was our problem, is that I could not see what was clearly there. And you know, there's one thing to manifest success for yourself. There's another to just blindly ignore the road signs while you're barreling down the highway. So I blocked him. And he kept repeating like, oh, I'm going to work with you my entire career. That sounded like a threat. That was not going to happen. No, absolutely not. So, somebody who just cannot take criticism or believes there's none to be taken. Someone who just is never satisfied with anything. And thirdly, it's just someone you don't vibe with. And that might seem very new age to say, but energy in the workplace is very, very important. We talk about it for relationships and friendships. The workplace, those are the people you spend the most time with. Okay, I know if you have young kids, that's probably who you spend the most time with. But honestly, if you work a 40-hour week or more, that's who you're with most of the time. You have to get along with them. You have to like them in some capacity. I'm not saying these are people you'd want to go out and, have dinner with, or go like, I don't know, do a 5K with, like I just did with my mom last week. They're people you want to be around for those 40 plus hours you're going to be around them. And I've just had clients where writing was great. Our communication, I thought we had great communication. And then after everything is said and done, it comes out that, I hope that wasn't covering it the whole time. It comes out that, I failed to see any of their vision, and my reader report gave them nothing to work with. And I was like, you didn't tell me any of this. Like, I submit a reader report. You're welcome to send back questions. And then I will send back responses to those questions. And it's a back and forth. Like, you don't have to accept the order before we even do all that. And I think what really made me mad was that they went and did this back and forth with me to clarify things. And then they still, bashed me afterwards. And I was like, if you had that much to say, you should have said it to me. And that was, the first time that I actually just blocked somebody, right away. This is considerably later on in my career. And I was like, no, I recognize you. I recognize your energy. We're not playing this game. So it's protect your peace, protect your energy, and protect yourself from men who don't know how to take criticism. That's just good advice, life advice. I think so. But also, that is to say, you're going to have far more amazing clients than you are going to have bad clients. And the more you do this, the easier it is to recognize the language, even over text. You can recognize the way somebody speaks and how they might exude themselves in person, and it just gets easier to catch. I also have noticed that all of those people I talked about were either beta reading or query letter clients. And at that point, both those services max would have been either like $65 or it might have been like $125, I think, was the max beta reading at the time. And so it's a lot of money. But when you look at my copy editing, my developmental editing, my proofreading clients who spend anywhere from $600 to $1,000, those ones I don't have problems with. So another little fourth tip here is you are more likely to find negative experiences with your lower paying clients and packages than you ever would with your expensive ones. And I know a lot of that comes down to the fact that I am someone who, the more you pay me, the more work I do. So maybe that works out for me. But it's also, I've never had someone say like, oh, she charges too much on my editing packages. I've had people say that on my beta reading packages, which again blows my mind because these people get like 6 to 10 pages when you've heard me talk about it all the time. Writers on YouTube have complained about getting an editorial letter from a developmental editor that's 3 or 4 pages, and they spent $2 or $3 grand. I don't even charge $2 or $3 grand for a dev edit. If you have a 100,000 word manuscript, I'm charging you $1,500. You know, but I just want to jump on here and just let you know that you're going to have far more positive experiences than you are negative, and that when these wins come up and your clients message you and say, I published, I got an agent, I did other things with books, I'm in a bookstore, it is so amazing. And it truly, even as a writer, this is a community where fellow writers are not your competition, they are your colleagues. Like, I am equally excited for my clients to be published as I am for me to be published. It's not a competition thing at all. And I think that's what makes it so much more fulfilling as well. And Lola is here, so I'm guessing I've been filming for a little bit too long. Do you wanna come say hi? Sometimes you do. Come on. Okay. No, sort of no. But I just kind of, like I said, I've been talking about wanting to make it like just an editing talk sit down video that's not Fiverr centric, because that's what all of my videos are. But thank you guys so much for watching. I am hoping that I'm back on a more regular basis now, at least every 2 weeks, if not every week, which is what I was doing before. But yeah, I'm really excited. The gardening's going well. Cemetery book's going well. So I will catch you guys very, very soon. If you liked it, hit that like, subscribe, share, all the clicky button things. Let me know in the comments, if you're a freelancer, what your favorite client story is. Okay, we're not here for negativity. Tell me like the client story that just like made you so happy that like you shouted with joy, or that you started crying. 100% cried for both of those clients. I shouted for joy for the mystery one because I freaking love mysteries. But I will catch you guys. First time, our first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my